Some of y'all know I do every week a podcast. I do every week a podcast. I do a podcast every week. I do a podcast 3 days a week. I do a podcast. I do a podcast. I do a podcast. Last year I launched a podcast. 2 years ago I launched a podcast. 3 years ago I launched a podcast. I do a podcast. My last podcast. Today's podcast on the podcast. Podcast on my podcast.
Back to Ketanji Brown Jackson's confirmation hearing.
You know, a couple of years ago I was doing my weekly podcast.
I don't know if you guys all know this, but Senator Ted Cruz of Texas has a podcast. And yesterday, he snapped at a reporter after being questioned about some sketchy fundraising arrangements that's happening right now involving his podcast, or more importantly, the distributor of his podcast, iHeartRadio. Now, before we get into the scuffle between Ted Cruz and the reporter, here's some context that's critical to know about. So over the last year, iHeartRadio, the massive radio network that picked up the Verdict with Ted Cruz podcast in 2022, has made regular and growing payments to a super PAC supporting the Texas Republicans' re-election effort. Now, iHeartRadio ain't playing. Like, they are donating a lot of money to his campaign. In fact, their latest payment to his PAC was $214,752.98. And that was sent to his campaign on February 15th and was first reported by Forbes and highlighted on social media by Sawyer Hackett, who's a Democratic strategist working for the Lose Cruz PAC. Lose Cruz is the group that made the video that we just showed you as well. Now, the payments, which the media company says are associated with ad revenue from the podcast, total $630,850, about a third of the $2 million the Truth and Courage PAC reported raising since the start of 2023, and that's according to the latest FEC data. Cruz's super PAC also appears to be the only political organization to receive basically like regular payments from iHeartRadio, and that's according to the FEC records. The network has its own PAC that regularly gives to politicians on both sides of the political aisle, although their contributions to those politicians are in much smaller increments. Now, there might be some issues with Senate ethics rules and maybe even campaign finance laws, but before we get to that, Cenk, briefly, what are your thoughts on this? Because I believe you've run a campaign or two, or run in a campaign or two, and you know a little more about campaign finance laws than I do. So tell us what you think.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth, as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you. To be fair though, I run grassroots campaigns, so I've never taken any money from PACs. But True. In the PAC world, there's so few rules. So this is very unlikely to be illegal. It just shows the depth of the corruption. And that's why Ted Cruz was so outraged when a local ABC affiliate asked him about this. And he was huffing and puffing about it because they're used to sliding on all of this. They're used to mainstream media that never ever point out the corruption. But this one's like a fascinating case though. It's a little bit different than everything else because it looks like, you're about to tell us the details on it, but that they're taking the ad revenue from the podcast and give it to him as a political contribution. So then he's doing the podcast to get campaign contributions. I don't know if that's kosher. We'll have to
right. It's funny because iHeartRadio, it seems like there's this excuse of, well, he's not getting compensated for his podcast. It's just that he's making ad revenue from his podcast, which is then being directed to his campaign, which means he's getting compensated for his podcast. It's just that he's not getting a check for a certain sum. It's just being routed over to his super PAC, no?
Yeah, but see, this is the problem that the Supreme Court set up when they set up the loophole of, well, campaign contributions aren't bribes. They're just people talking to you. It's just money is speech. And so this is iHeartRadio talking back to Ted Cruz and saying, attaboy, right? So as long as it's not going into his pocket, I would be shocked if there was any kind of action. Now, Ted Cruz is lying about a portion of this, which we'll get to in a sec. But to me, this is part of the larger problem of corruption in politics and how any company can buy any politician. If you remember, the Mercers, who run a hedge fund, gave Ted Cruz $13 million in one campaign alone. So Ted Cruz is for sale. Anyone can buy him. It just so happens that it's iHeartRadio in this case.
So let's get to what the experts are saying. Ethics and campaign finance experts say that this situation is novel. So they're kind of uncertain about whether or not rules or laws are being broken here. Cruz's office has repeatedly dismissed ethical questions about his 3 times a week. He's podcasting 3 times a week. He's working on his podcast harder than he's doing any legislate, which might be a good thing for all of us, to be honest. So maybe I should just move on. Now he's saying that he makes no money from the venture with a company that lobbies Congress. Shayna Ports, a senior legal counsel at the Campaign Legal Center, which filed an ethics complaint about Cruz's podcast back in 2022, argues that the payments from iHeartRadio beg the question of whether this is an unlawful contribution. Federal office holders are prohibited from soliciting a contribution of over $5,000 to a super PAC or directing over $5,000 to a super PAC. So if Cruz told iHeartRadio that it could or should move money to the super PAC, he could be in violation of the law, Ports said. Rachel Nelson, who's the vice president of public relations at iHeartRadio, also spoke to the Houston Chronicle and said that iHeartRadio sells the advertising inventory for Cruz's podcast as it does for other podcasts. This is a common practice. The payments are associated with those advertising sales. Senator Cruz volunteers his time to host his podcast and isn't compensated for it. Am I interpreting that statement incorrectly, Cenk? That statement doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like she's contradicting herself there because he is getting compensated by the ad revenue. It's just that he's not getting a direct deposit into a checking account. It's just going to his campaign.
Yeah, but to be fair to them, the Supreme Court has said that you could give $1 billion to as a campaign contribution to a politician. They can get famous off that. They can get status, title, power, and in a roundabout way, wealth. And it doesn't matter. It's not bribery. Now that's absurd. That's insane. That's exactly how we lost our democracy. But I'd be shocked if they found him guilty on this. And it's interesting that the podcast has gotten the attention because they keep saying, well, iHeartRadio is a company that lobbies Congress. So is every other company that contributes to Ted Cruz. I'm not defending iHeartRadio. I just want you to understand how the system works. So Ted Cruz, I just looked it up in the last 5 years, has gotten $1 million from banks. They also lobby Congress. They also bought him, and he then is in favor of every legislation to have the banks rob you blind, right? By the way,
wouldn't it make more sense for iHeartRadio to just cut him a check? Because you as the candidate can fund your campaign as much as you want, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So why don't they just do that? I don't understand.
I don't, maybe there's a rule against senators getting paid for this type of stuff. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. There's no one's ever going to be held accountable. But I like that the local ABC News is covering it. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you
so let's get to
doing that.
Let's get to that because he had a testy exchange, which was hilarious. And note how he refused to answer the question. So after this news came out, ABC 13 Houston reporter Shannon Ryan asked Cruz about the situation, and Ted Cruz gave an interesting non-response. So Ryan asks, so if an entity which employs lobbyists is giving hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to your reelection efforts, how can you say you're not being compensated? Cruz responds with, haha, it really is sad what's happened to the media, which is the media exists right now seemingly to parrot left-wing Democrat attacks. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. Can you answer the question? Of course he didn't answer the question because he doesn't have an answer to it. The group that brought that attack is a left-wing Democrat attack group. And by the way, you know what you didn't mention in your question? The fact that they filed a complaint with the Senate Ethics Committee raising these same issues. You know what the Senate Ethics Committee did? They threw it out. They said it had no basis in law. Okay, I mean, look, if it has no basis in law, then just say that. Just answer the question and be calm about it. But like the random jabs at the media because they have the audacity to ask you a tough question is ridiculous. It makes him look like a pathetic little weenie.
Yeah, so I want to be clear about this. The Senate, he's lying. The Senate Ethics Committee looked into it before they knew that iHeartRadio was giving him money in campaign contributions. They had no idea. When they looked into it, they were like, hey, is he allowed to do a podcast for free? Yes, he's allowed, right? So it's just an unmitigated lie that they looked into the campaign contributions. They didn't. And ABC News clarified that. I think the reason he's so upset about it when it comes to the media asking him this is because and we mentioned it here in the case of Ted Cruz, and it's a perfect case, but don't get it wrong, about 95% of all politicians, including Democrats, take these kind of corporate campaign contributions. They're all corrupt. And the press never tells you that, right? That's why he was like shell shocked. Like, the press is asking me about corruption. I thought we had an agreement that you're not allowed to do that. We all pretend that there is no corruption, right? No, they're all bought. By the way, you want to know the #1 donor to Ted Cruz over the last 5 years?
Cancun.
Cancun's a great guess. And you're not that far off because it is something that is aligned with a foreign government. AIPAC, #1 donor. Gee, I wonder why all of the Republicans, even though they're based now, doesn't want to support the war in Gaza. All of the Republican politicians are in favor of further war and giving Israel every money, every dollar that they want. Because just like iHeartRadio, just like the banks, just like every company, they buy all of these politicians. If you see someone in mainstream media talking about how they're having debates in Congress, and this guy thinks that and the other guy thinks that, no, they don't think anything except where's the check? Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.